For this task, you'll need to have some good quality paper. If you don't have any nice thick art paper or your sketchbook, then a white envelope tends to be very good quality paper, so that'll work. Ideally, you'll have a coloured pencil, but if you haven't got a coloured pencil, then a normal pencil will do. We're going to do a letter, and whenever you do lettering in art, you always begin by drawing a box for it to fit into, and that ensures that you know what size it's going to be and where it's going to be placed on the page. So draw very lightly for this, because you will need to be able to rub it out later. And I'm going to do the letter R because it contains some curves and some straight edges. One of the things you want to do is make sure it touches the top and bottom of the box and both sides, so it fills the area that you're using, and aim to get the letter the same thickness everywhere. Once you've drawn the outline, notice I'm sketching the lines in gradually. I'm not trying to go all the way around in one go. You will need to rub out the lines where you've joined it together. Right, so we don't need that line there, we don't need that one, and we don't need the box anymore either. So it's important when you're sketching things out to draw very lightly so that it's easy to rub it out. Right, there we go. I'll just get those little bits off. Now we can begin with the shading. So when you're adding tone by shading, begin by giving it a very nice, neat outline, and you'll notice I'm turning the paper so that my arm isn't moving, just my hand is. Because if you have to use your whole arm to move, so if I was to draw that line there, I would need to move my arm unless I turn it sideways. If you're using your whole arm, you have much less control and it's harder to be accurate. So every edge of this letter is going to be dark. Go all the way around. Make sure you keep your pencil sharp, otherwise you'll get a fluffy edge. And we even need to do this edge here as well, because if you think of this letter as a bubble letter, or as if it was made out of a balloon, everywhere that it curves away from you becomes dark because it's curving away from the light. And that's how tone is used to make objects appear three-dimensional. Right, now I've got that dark outline, I will use lighter pressure to do shading that gets lighter and lighter and lighter and fades away at the centre. So you want it as dark as it can possibly be at the edge, and then fading into white at the centre. So I'm hardly touching the paper when I get towards the centre. And it's very easy to darken it up, so make sure you don't go too dark to begin with, because you can go darker, but making it lighter again is a bit more tricky. Then I'll do this edge, turn the paper around again. At the corner there, I've done a rounded corner, so I'm going to shade at an angle, a 45-degree angle. And what you're aiming to do is make the shading so smooth that you can't see the lines. You'll notice I'm going backwards and forwards over each area multiple times, and that makes the lines blend in and disappear. Now, although this is a letter that we're shading here, and you don't do letters in every piece of artwork that you create, the principles of shading are always the same. So dark around the edges, lighter towards the centre is a good starting point, and a lot of objects obey those rules. And learning to blend from dark to light smoothly and with lots of contrast is very important. Is a very important skill to have in art. Right, you can see there's a little bit there that I've missed, so I'll fill that in now. Now you might decide to start yours while you're watching this video rather than watch it all the way through at the end and then do it. You also might want to watch part of the video and then start and pause it and then come back and watch the next bit. Might be easier than trying to remember all of the things that I've said. Make sure you've used a dark pencil to do the shading as well, because if you were to choose a light colour, like a light green or an orange or a yellow, that won't give you a dark tone, so you won't be able to get much contrast into your artwork, which means it'll look very flat, it won't be eye-catching, and it won't stand out. Almost there. And there we go. So you can see what we're aiming for is about 1/3 of the width dark, 1/3 of it light shading, and then 1/3 that is white or very close to white. There you go.